Well, good afternoon, Central Arkansas meteorologist Nathan Scott. Happy Monday to you. And we had a weekend where it was hot and humid. We're seeing more of the same out there right now. Look at this temperature, 92 at the capital city already. It's 88 in Clinton, 87 in Hot Springs, 89 in Stuttgart. And you're seeing that flash because there's a bad image within the satellite imagery. We have a mixture of sun and clouds around the area. With that humidity, it already feels like 101 at Little Rock. It feels like 98 in Stuttgart, it feels like 96 in Clinton, feels like 93 in Hot Springs. It's going to be a toasty day around Central Arkansas. Well, we have the chance of maybe a spotty shower storm. Here's a radar loop. Most locations are on the dry side at this time, but I am watching a few showers bubbling up if you're watching us into Woodruff County, also into parts of White County. See a little downpour starting to fire up just to the south of Augusta, and that's making its way off to the north and northeast. Also a few showers dotting the landscape down through Brinkley, Cotton Plant, and Hunter. As we take a look at future radar, we're going to have that chance of a spotty shower storm, but not everybody's going to see the activity once again. It'll be very hit or miss through the afternoon, and then later into the evening hours after sunset, we'll be watching a lot of storms rolling in here from Missouri, and you see quite a bit of color showing up there. So this could be some strong storms if you're watching us in Clinton, Marshall, Batesville, so Newton County. There could be quite a bit of lightning, maybe some gusty winds, maybe even some small hail with that system as it dives its way down to the south. And I think that will start to fizzle out a lot before it reaches Central Arkansas. So here's what you can expect today. Temperatures topping out into the low to mid 90s. This activity that we're seeing for tonight is all ahead of a front, and that front will bring in some different conditions getting into the latter part of the week. I'll have more on that forecast coming up.
Nathan Scott, thank you so much. Rolly Hoyt here with you at noon. Glad you could be with us as well. Well, as you can see, NASA's new moon rocket that was scheduled to blast off this morning is still there in Florida. Fuel leaks and engine issues forcing the space agency to scrub the launch today. And as Skylar Henry tells us, when you're getting ready for the biggest road trip in decades, they want to make sure Artemis I is all tuned up.
About the time the launch window opened, NASA called off the first liftoff attempt.
This is Artemis Launch Control with an update. Launch Director Charlie Blackwell-Thompson has called a scrub.
It didn't come as a complete surprise. There were repeated stops and starts of fueling overnight.
Leak detection equipment went off and stopped the fill of liquid hydrogen during fast fill.
Crews were able to mostly fill the tanks when they discovered an engine bleed that couldn't be remedied. Fuel leaks were also a problem during a practice run back in the spring. NASA Communication Officer Daryl Nail discussed it with Administrator Bill Nelson.
This is a very complicated machine, a very complicated system, and all those things have to work. And you don't want to light the candle until it's ready to go.
The earliest opportunity to try again would be this Friday afternoon, but that all depends on whether engineers can fix the engine bleed.
Monday's scrub was a disappointment for thousands of people who flocked to the Space Coast hoping to witness the launch of NASA's most powerful rocket. And there's a lot riding on this test drive for NASA's return to the moon. Astronaut Christina Cook is part of the Artemis team.
We're going back to stay this time for innovation, for inspiration, and of course for that interplanetary aspect of our next step onto Mars.
NASA hopes to land people on the moon's south pole as early as 2025. Skylar Henry, CBS News at the Kennedy Space Center.
We are learning more about a deadly shooting at a grocery store in Oregon that happened over the weekend. According to police there, the shooter walked over from a nearby neighborhood, started firing in the parking lot of a shopping center in the city of Bend yesterday. He then went into a Safeway grocery store where he shot one person at the entrance, continued firing inside, shooting a second person. Both of those victims have died. When officers arrived, they found the apparent shooter dead with bullet casings, the AR-15 style rifle, and a shotgun all nearby. Closer to home, Fayetteville police have arrested a suspect in this weekend's shooting at the Washington County Fair. The incident happened late Friday night. Some kind of altercation led to gunshots and people running for the exits. Police found a boy who had been hurt in the incident. He went to the hospital, is expected to be okay. Yesterday, police arrested a 16-year-old in connection with the shooting. He's now charged with aggravated assault, battery, and aggravated riot. The investigation into the violent arrest of a suspect in Crawford County continues as we head into this new week. Over the weekend, people in that area gathered to call for change.
We are in a storm right now in our country. Yes, we are. We're dang sure in a storm right now. We're about to be in a storm the next 2 weeks here in Crawford County.
Civil rights activist Derek Van Vost holding that rally in Van Buren Saturday. It came less than a week after 2 Crawford County deputies and a Mulberry police officer arrested Randall Worcester. A witness recorded video of the violent arrest, leading to multiple investigations, including from the FBI, local and state police. The rally called for answers and justice for those officers' actions.
You don't get to treat people that way. I don't care what they've done. You know, it's wrong.
Many in the crowd are calling for dash cam video, which shows the moments leading up to the encounter before the civilian video began, but the local prosecutor has not yet released it. A pretrial hearing is scheduled for tomorrow in the federal trial of Richard Barnett. His trial in connection with the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol is being moved back to December 12th. Barnett is currently out on bail, set to appear via video conference. He's facing charges of obstruction of an official proceeding, entering a restricted building with a dangerous or deadly weapon, along with other charges. Barnett pleaded not guilty to all of them. We've got other news now. The top American intelligence officer has told Congress she will try to determine whether classified documents found during a raid of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home put national security at risk. Friday's release of the heavily redacted affidavit behind the search reveals that the 15 boxes returned to the National Archives in January, 67 of those documents were marked confidential, 92 marked secret, and another 25 marked top secret, among the most sensitive government records with restricted access. Some of those documents also indicated there may have been information about CIA spies or informants.
This is the most sensitive material of the United States intelligence community.
Meanwhile, a federal judge in Florida has scheduled a hearing on Thursday about that former president's request to appoint a special master or independent party to review all of the documents that have been seized. Most viewed on THV11.com this Monday afternoon. If you are looking to buy a house, it might actually be easier to do it now than 6 months ago. It's because the real estate market is slowing down in central Arkansas and homes aren't selling as fast as they used to. THV11's Brooke Buckner has those details.
Over the course of the pandemic, realtors sold houses within hours of showing them, but now it's slowing down a bit. Real estate agents tell me the market is heading in a better direction.
We are not in the same place that we were a year ago. However, it's not been a drastic change.
Realtor Stacy Hamilton says buyers now have more time to decide on a house before putting down an offer.
6 months ago, they had to move so fast on it that we actually saw a lot of buyer's remorse. And as they got along in the contract, sometimes they terminate because they didn't have enough time to consider it.
And Hamilton says less people come to open houses now compared to last year.
It's more bearable for the buyers. They can walk through without a crowd being around them and seriously consider the home and take it in and be able to look at it better.
She says higher interest rates are slowing down the market, but we aren't quite heading into a recession.
People are going to continue to buy and sell property. We're in a good spot, and for it to slow just a little bit, that's okay. As interest rates go up, you will see prices start to come down. So those two kind of balance each other out over time.
Donnie Copeland is selling his house, and he says it's a relief to see the market slow down.
You can sell and still have time to make a good sound decision versus 6 months ago where you sold and you're like, oh no, what we're going to do now? And you have limited options because the market is so hot.
Broker John Underhill says even though the market is improving, there's still a shortage of homes for sale, and it's competitive for first-time home buyers.
When a property comes on the market, you've got to make yourself available to go see it as soon as possible because this market is still very active.
But overall, he believes the market is still changing for the better.
It's not a buyer's market or a seller's market. It's just a good, stable market.
Brooke Buckner reporting for us there. Another broker who keeps track of available homes also across parts of Little Rock says about 400 houses are on the market right now and about half of them are under contract. Well, more Americans are looking to ditch their gas guzzlers, plug in and save up. 2 minutes, we're going to look at the growing interest in electric vehicles. And Nathan is here for us.
Rolling, we're beginning the new work week with some hot and humid conditions. A few clouds bubbling up with that daytime heating, and our chance of showering storms will be going up tonight for parts of the area. I'll have more on that, and also some changeable weather getting into the middle part of the work week next.